The last time I saw my sister Meredith, she was smirking at me across our parents' mahogany dining table while my mother sobbed into her napkin. "I always knew you'd amount to nothing," my father had just finished saying, his words hanging in the air like poison. "I'm jailer, and that night 5 years ago was the last time I let my family make me feel small. Sweetheart, we just want what's best for you," my mother Hope managed between theatrical sniffs. "If you'd just listened to Meredith about the job at her firm—" "The entry-level admin position," I cut in, my voice steadier than I felt. "The one where I'd be fetching her coffee?" Meredith's perfect smile didn't waver. "Everyone has to start somewhere, little sister. Some of us just start higher than others." The familiar knot in my stomach tightened. I'd lived in Meredith's shadow for 26 years, watching her collect accolades while I collected criticisms. Every achievement of mine was measured against hers and found wanting. Every mistake became family legend. "I already have a job," I said quietly. "I'm doing well at the tech startup." "Playing with computers," my father Glenn interrupted, swirling his whiskey. "Meanwhile, your sister is running charitable organisations, making real differences in people's lives." "Making differences in her bank account, you mean?" I muttered. The silence that followed was deafening. Meredith's smile finally cracked. "What exactly are you implying?" she hissed. Before I could respond, my mother jumped in. "Jailer, apologise to your sister right now, after everything she's done for you?" "Done for me?" I laughed, and it sounded foreign even to my ears. "What exactly has she done except ensure I never forgot my place?" "That's enough," my father slammed his glass down. "You've always been jealous of Meredith's success. If you spent half as much time working as you do complaining—" "I work 60 hours a week," I said, standing up. "I'm leading development on a major project, but you've never once asked about it, have you?" "Sit down," my mother ordered. "We're not finished. Actually, we are." I grabbed my purse. "I'm done being the family disappointment. I'm done watching you worship Meredith while treating me like I'm broken. I'm just done." Meredith's voice dripped with fake concern. "Mum, Dad, she's just having another one of her episodes. Remember that time in high school when—" "Goodbye," I cut her off, walking toward the door. "Don't try to contact me. If you walk out that door," my father called after me, "don't expect any help when you fail, and you will fail." I paused in the doorway, looking back at them one last time. My mother's mascara-streaked face, my father's rigid disapproval, and Meredith's satisfied smirk. They looked exactly as they always had, a perfect family portrait with one glaring imperfection: me. "Watch me," I said, and closed the door behind me. 5 years passed. 5 years of silence, of building something they couldn't diminish, of becoming someone they wouldn't recognise. 5 years of peace, until my phone buzzed with a message from my cousin Presley this morning. "Hey, stranger, you're not going to believe this, but Grandma Emery's 80th birthday party is next month. The whole family's coming. Meredith's organising everything, and she's planning something wild. She's been asking about you. A lot." I stared at the message, my coffee growing cold beside my laptop. Through my office window, I could see the city skyline, the same view that had graced magazine covers featuring my company, the same view my family would never believe I owned. Another message from Presley popped up. "You should come. Show them who you are now." My finger hovered over the delete button, but something stopped me. Maybe it was time. Time to show them exactly who Jailer Francis had become while they weren't watching. My phone buzzed again, a news alert this time. "Tech innovator makes Forbes 30 under 40. My own face stared back at me from the screen, though I'd insisted they use my middle name for the article. My family never read tech news anyway. I thought of Meredith, so desperate to know what I'd been doing, planning something wild for Grandma's party. My sister always did love a good show. "Well," I murmured to myself, "let's give her one." I typed a quick reply to Presley. "Tell me more about this party." "Someone's been poking around your socials," Hugh said, dropping into the chair across from my desk. "And I don't mean the usual tech journalists." I minimised the quarterly reports on my screen. Let me guess, My sister? Not directly. Hugh leaned forward, lowering his voice despite us being alone in my office. But that cousin of yours, the chatty one who messaged you about the party, she told me Meredith's been showing everyone pictures of you outside some luxury condo in Manhattan. Interesting, considering I've never posted anything about where I live. Exactly. Hugh had been my right hand since the startup days, back when we were coding in a basement. He knew everything, including why I kept my success hidden from my family. She hired someone, Jailer, a PI. I felt a familiar chill, the same one I used to get before family dinners. You're sure? Remember Marcus from IT security? His wife works for an investigations firm. She overheard your sister's name mentioned in a briefing. My phone buzzed. Another message from Presley. OMGJ, you have to hear what Meredith just told everyone in the family group chat. She says you've been lying about everything. Says she has proof you're not who you say you are. I showed Hugh the message. He whistled low. She's trying to set you up for something big at that party. Let her try. I stood up, walking to the window. 15 floors below, people looked like ants scurrying between skyscrapers. She wants to expose me. Fine, but she might not like what she finds. What are you thinking? Before I could answer, my assistant Sarah buzzed in. Miss Francis, your 2:00 is here, the venture capital meeting. Thanks, Sarah. Hugh, we'll finish this later. He nodded, heading for the door, then paused. Just be careful, okay? I know that look. You're planning something. After he left, I opened my laptop and pulled up my private email. 3 new messages from family members I hadn't spoken to in years, all asking variations of the same question. Was it true? Had I really been pretending to be successful? I clicked delete on all of them. My phone rang, Grandma Emery's number. My finger hovered over decline, but something made me answer. Hello? About time you picked up. Her voice was exactly as I remembered, sharp, clear, taking no nonsense. Your sister's telling everyone you're some sort of con artist. Is she now? Don't play coy with me, girl. Are you coming to this party or not? I hesitated. Would you want me there? Wouldn't ask if I didn't. A pause. Something's not right with all this. Meredith's too excited, like she's planning a public execution instead of a birthday party. Sounds like her. Jailer. Her tone softened slightly. What really happened 5 years ago? Before I could answer, my email pinged. A new message, no subject line, from an address I didn't recognize, just a photo attachment. I opened it and felt my blood freeze. It was me, walking into my office building yesterday morning, coffee in hand. The angle suggested it was taken from across the street. I have to go, Grandma. I'll think about the party. I hung up and enlarged the photo. In the corner, barely visible, a watermark. Man Investigations. My phone buzzed again, this time a text from an unknown number. Interesting career trajectory for someone who was playing with computers 5 years ago. Your sister says hello. I should have felt scared. Instead, I felt something else, something harder, colder, something that had been building for 5 years. I dialed Hugh. Remember that contact you mentioned? The one whose wife works at the PI firm? I need a meeting. Today. Jailer? They're watching my building, Hugh, taking pictures. If Meredith wants to play detective, fine, but she forgot something important. What's that? I looked at the photo again, at my designer suit and the logo of my company clearly visible behind me. I'm not that scared little sister anymore, and I have resources she can't imagine. What are you going to do? I thought about Meredith's smirk that last night, about all the time she'd torn me down to build herself up, about the lies she was spreading now, trying to destroy whatever she thought I'd become. I'm going to let her finish her investigation, I said quietly, and then I'm going to show her what a real takedown looks like. The truth was coming, all of it, and this time I'd be the one smirking across the table. Fletcher Mann's office looked exactly like you'd expect a private investigator's workspace to look. Weathered leather chairs, filing cabinets, and a desk that had seen better decades. The man himself was a surprise. Crisp suit, sharp eyes, and a demeanour that suggested he'd rather be anywhere else. "Miss Francis," he said, not standing. "I assume this is about the surveillance photos." "You assumed right." I sat across from him, matching his posture. "Want to tell me why you're taking pictures of me for my sister?" He studied me for a long moment. "Professional courtesy prevents me from discussing other clients." "Professional courtesy didn't stop you from sending me that photo." A slight smile crossed his face. "Ah, that?" "Yes, that." I leaned forward. "So either you're playing both sides, or something about this case made you reach out. Which is it?" Fletcher opened a drawer, pulled out a thick manila envelope. "Your sister hired me to prove you were lying about your success. She was quite insistent that I'd find evidence of fraud, deception, maybe even criminal activity. And instead I found this." He slid the envelope across the desk. "Take a look." Inside were documents, photos, financial records, my company's valuation reports, pictures of my penthouse, my vacation home in the Berkshires, press clippings about my tech innovations, everything I'd worked for, laid out in black and white. "Impressive portfolio," Fletcher said quietly. "Self-made, clean, legal, the opposite of what your sister wanted to find. So why show me?" "Because while investigating you, I found something else, something that wasn't supposed to be there." He pulled another thinner envelope from his desk. "This was misfiled in your sister's background documents. I don't think she knows I have it." My hands shook slightly as I opened it. Inside was a single page, a bank statement from Meredith's charitable organisation. Red flags jumped out immediately: irregular transfers, mismatched amounts, funds moving to personal accounts. "Is this what I think it is?" Fletcher nodded. "Your sister's been embezzling from her own charity. Small amounts at first, then larger ones. The investigation into her activities started 3 months ago." "She doesn't know?" "Not yet, but she will." He leaned back. "Here's the thing, Miss Francis. I don't like being used. Your sister hired me to destroy you, fed me lies about who you were. Instead, I found someone who built something real." My phone buzzed. Another message from Presley. "Meredith's telling everyone she's going to expose you at Grandma's party. Says she has proof you're living a lie." I showed Fletcher the message. He actually laughed. "She's planning to present my report at the party," he said. "Thinks it'll humiliate you, show everyone you're a fraud. But instead she'll be presenting proof of your legitimate success to your entire family." He gestured to the envelopes. "Take them, both of them. Consider it my apology for the surveillance." I stood, gathering the documents. "Why are you really helping me?" "Let's just say I have a sister too." He smiled grimly. "And sometimes karma needs a little push." Outside his office I called Hugh. "Well?" he asked. "It's better than we thought. Meredith's not just trying to expose me, she's going to accidentally expose herself." "What do you mean?" "She's been stealing from her charity, Hugh, and she's about to hand me proof of both my success and her crimes in front of our entire family." A low whistle. "That's poetic justice?" I smiled, thinking of all those family dinners, all those smirks and cutting remarks. "The best part, she's paying for her own downfall." "Want to guess where she got the money to hire Fletcher?" "Don't tell me." "The family trust account, the same one she always said I wasn't responsible enough to access." My phone buzzed again. An email from my mother. "Jailer, please don't come to the party. Don't make things worse than they already are." I deleted it without responding. 5 years ago, I'd walked away from their table feeling broken. This time, I'd walk in knowing exactly who I was, and more importantly, who Meredith really was. "Hugh," I said, sliding into my car, "remember how you said I was planning something?" "Yeah." "I'm not anymore." I looked at the envelopes on my passenger seat. "I'm just going to let Meredith's plan play out exactly as she intended. Sometimes the best revenge is letting people destroy themselves." The party was 2 weeks away. For once I couldn't wait for a family gathering. Holy shit, Hugh whispered, spreading Fletcher's documents across my office table. This is comprehensive. I nodded, watching him flip through pages of my life's work. Forbes features, property deeds, company valuations, all of it meticulously documented. Meredith wanted proof. She got it, but not the proof she wanted. Hugh held up a glossy photo of me speaking at a tech conference. This is going to backfire spectacularly. My phone lit up. Another message from Meredith, the first direct contact in 5 years. Hope you're ready for Grandma's party, little sister. Time to show everyone who you really are. I showed Hugh the message. He snorted. She has no idea, does she? None. I picked up the second envelope, the one containing Meredith's secrets. But this is the real bomb. We spent the next hour reviewing the charity's financial records. The pattern was clear. Small withdrawals at first, growing larger over time. Money meant for children's programs diverted to personal accounts. Luxury purchases disguised as operational expenses. Look at this, Hugh pointed to a particular transaction. She used charity funds to hire Fletcher. Not just that. I pulled up my banking app. She also drained $10,000 from the family trust account, the one she manages, on the same day. Can she do that legally? No. It requires all beneficiaries' approval. I laughed darkly. She probably figured I'd never know, since I haven't touched that account in years. My office door opened, and Sarah poked her head in. Sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this. Meredith just posted something in your family's Facebook group. I pulled it up on my laptop. There it was, a long, seemingly heartfelt post about protecting the family from deception and revealing painful truths. She'd even tagged Grandma Emery. The comments, Hugh said, leaning over my shoulder. Look at them. Dozens of relatives chiming in with support. My mother writing, "It's for the best, sweetheart, she needs help." My father adding, "Some people can't handle the truth." Only one comment stood out, Grandma Emery's. "Careful what truths you dig for, girl. You might not like what you find." Grandma knows something, Hugh said. She always knows something. I closed the laptop. That's why Meredith's doing this at her birthday party. She thinks Grandma's approval will legitimize her attack. My phone buzzed again. Fletcher this time. "Your sister just demanded the final report. Says she needs it for a family presentation. Thought you should know." I typed back, "Let her have it." Hugh raised an eyebrow. "You're really going to let her do this?" "Watch," I said, pulling up the trust account records on my screen. Meredith's so focused on exposing me, she's getting sloppy. Look at these transfers. She's been stealing for months, thinking no one would notice. "But you did?" "No," I smiled. "Grandma did. 3 weeks ago, she requested an audit of all family accounts. That's what triggered the investigation into Meredith's charity. So when Meredith presents Fletcher's report, she'll be presenting evidence of my success to a grandmother who already knows about her fraud." I leaned back. Sometimes the best revenge is just sitting back and watching. Sarah appeared again. "Miss Francis, the board meeting is in 10 minutes. "Thanks, Sarah." I stood, straightening my jacket. "Hugh, can you finish reviewing these? I want to know every detail before the party." "Sure, but—" He hesitated. "Are you really going to expose her in front of everyone?" I thought about all the times Meredith had humiliated me at family gatherings, all the smirks, the subtle digs, the way she'd positioned herself as the successful sister while painting me as the failure. "No," I said finally, "I'm going to let her expose herself." My phone lit up one last time, a message from Grandma Emery. "Got my party invitation today. Says you're coming. About time, girl. Bring that backbone I know you've grown." I smiled, typing back, "Don't worry, Grandma. I'm not the same person who left 5 years ago." "Good," she replied immediately, "because neither is your sister, and only one of you is going to like how this party ends." Looking at the documents spread across my table, proof of both my rise and Meredith's fall, I knew exactly which one of us that would be. "Hugh, I called as I headed to my meeting. Make sure those documents are somewhere safe. The party's in 10 days, and Meredith's not the only one who knows how to make a presentation. Sometimes karma needs a little help, and sometimes it just needs an audience. The week before Grandma's party, the messages started flooding in. First came my mother's daily guilt trips. Please reconsider coming. You'll only embarrass yourself. Why can't you just let Meredith help you? We're only trying to protect you from yourself. Delete, delete, delete. I was in the middle of a board meeting when Presley called 3 times. You need to hear this, she said, when I finally stepped out to answer. I just overheard Meredith on the phone with Fletcher. She's planning to do this presentation thing right after Grandma's cake. Says she's going to save the family from your lies or something. Did she mention what lies exactly? No, but... Presley lowered her voice. She's acting weird, Jay, like manic almost. Keeps checking her bank accounts on her phone. Yesterday she tried to access the trust fund again, but Grandma's locked it down for routine audit purposes. I smiled. How did Meredith take that? She threw her phone across the room. Perfect. The pressure was getting to her. Thanks, Presley. Keep me posted. Back in my office, Hugh was waiting with more news. Your sister just tried to get into the building. Security stopped her. Here? I walked to the window. 15 floors below, I could just make out Meredith's signature red coat as she stormed to her car. What did she want? To speak with the CEO. Hugh grinned. Guess she doesn't know that's you. My phone buzzed. A text from Fletcher. Your sister's getting desperate. Asked me to dig deeper, find something more damaging. I told her the report was final. I was about to respond when another call came in. Grandma Emery. You busy? She asked when I answered. Never too busy for you, Grandma. Good, because I'm outside your building. I froze. What? Saw your sister making a scene down here. Figured it was time we talked. A pause. Nice office you've got. Corner suite, I'm guessing. 10 minutes later, Grandma Emery sat across from me, looking exactly as I remembered. Elegant, sharp-eyed, and completely unimpressed by the view that made most visitors gasp. So, she said, setting down her tea, this is what you've been hiding. I wasn't hiding. Save it. She waved her hand. I've known about your success for months. What I want to know is why you let them think otherwise. I met her gaze. Would they have believed me if I'd told them? No, she admitted. They'd have assumed you were lying, just like Meredith does now. She smiled slightly, even though she's seen the proof. You know about Fletcher's report? I know about a lot of things. She pulled out her phone, showed me an email. Like this audit report on your sister's charity. Interesting reading. Grandma, don't worry, I won't spoil her big presentation. She stood, straightening her jacket. Just tell me one thing. Are you ready for this? For Meredith's attack? No. Her eyes were steel. For the fallout, because when this is over, nothing in this family will be the same. Before I could respond, my phone lit up with a message from my father. Your mother's in tears over what you're putting Meredith through. I hope you're happy. I showed it to Grandma. She read it and laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, they have no idea what's coming, do they? She headed for the door, then paused. Wear that navy suit to the party, the one from your Forbes shoot. It'll look good in the photos. What photos? The ones everyone will be taking when Meredith's presentation backfires. She winked. I may be turning 80, but I still know how to stage a show. After she left, Hugh came in. Was that really your grandmother? The one and only. She seemed terrifying. I was going to say prepared. My phone buzzed one final time, Meredith. Last chance, little sister. Back out now, or I'll destroy everything you've pretended to build. I thought about the documents in my safe, about Grandma's knowing smile, about 5 years of silence and strength. You can't destroy what's real, I typed back. Then I pulled up the party invitation on my screen. 3 days to go. 3 days until Meredith would stand up, thinking she was about to tear me down, only to reveal her own destruction instead. Hugh, I called out, Clear my schedule for Monday. I've got a birthday party to attend. And a sister to watch self-destruct. The country club ballroom fell silent when I walked in. Conversation stopped mid-sentence, champagne glasses frozen halfway to lips, all eyes turning to watch me enter. I spotted Meredith near the cake table, her face going from smug to shocked as she took in my appearance. The navy suit had the exact effect Grandma predicted. Professional, powerful, expensive. "Jayla?" My mother's voice cracked. How are you?" "Happy birthday, Grandma," I said, ignoring her and walking straight to where Grandma Emery sat in her place of honour. I handed her a small wrapped package. "Right on time," Grandma said, loud enough for everyone to hear. She patted the empty seat beside her. "Sit!" Whispers erupted around the room. This seat, right next to the birthday girl, was supposed to be Meredith's. "That's my place," Meredith said, rushing over. "Mum, tell her—" "Let her sit," Grandma cut in. Her tone left no room for argument. "It's my birthday. I'll seat who I want, where I want." I caught my father's eye across the room. He looked away first. The next hour was a symphony of awkward small talk and pointed questions. Relatives I hadn't seen in years suddenly wanted to know everything about my life. I gave them nothing, just smiled and turned their questions back on them. "Enough chit-chat," Meredith finally announced, tapping her glass. "It's time for the special presentation I prepared." She pulled out a thick envelope, Fletcher's report, and moved to the small podium set up near Grandma's chair. "Before we begin," my mother interrupted, "perhaps Jayla should step out." "No," Grandma said firmly. "Everyone stays." Meredith cleared her throat. "As you all know, family means everything to me. That's why it breaks my heart to expose what I'm about to expose." She looked directly at me. "Some people have been deceiving us, living lies, pretending to be something they're not." I sat back, relaxed, let her talk. "I hired a private investigator," she continued, pride in her voice, "to uncover the truth about my sister's supposed success, and what he found." "Show us," Grandma interrupted. "Stop talking and show us what he found." Meredith faltered slightly but recovered. "Of course, I'll start with these photos." She pulled out the first one, me entering my office building, the company logo clearly visible behind me. "This is where my sister claims to work," she said. "A tech company valued at—" She stopped, actually reading the paper for the first time. Her face went pale. "Go on," Grandma encouraged. "What's the company valued at?" This can't be right." Meredith shuffled through more papers. "These documents show—" "Show what?" I asked quietly. "Property deeds," she mumbled. "Stock options, board member appointments, Forbes interviews." The room was dead silent now, everyone watching as Meredith's hands started shaking. "Read it," Grandma commanded. "Read what that investigator found about Jayla." She's the CEO," Meredith whispered. "The company. It's hers, all of it." My mother made a choking sound. My father's whiskey glass slipped from his hand, shattering on the floor. "Keep going," Grandma said. "There's more, isn't there?" But Meredith had reached the last pages, the ones about her charity. I saw the moment she recognised what she was holding. Her face went from pale to grey. I think there's been a mistake," she stammered. "These papers got mixed up." "No mistake," I said, standing. "Fletcher is very thorough. He documents everything." I pulled out my own envelope. "Including these bank transfers from the family trust account, the ones you made without approval." "You had no right," Meredith shrieked. "Those records are private." "Like the charity's records?" I asked softly. The room erupted in confused questions, relatives demanding explanations, my mother crying again, but for a different reason now, my father trying to reach Meredith, who was backing away from the podium. "Enough!" Grandma's voice cut through the chaos. She turned to Meredith. "You wanted to expose the truth. Well, congratulations, you did." "But not the truth you expected," I added. Meredith looked around wildly, seeing the faces of our family transform from shock to understanding to judgment. Then she ran, straight out of the ballroom, leaving her damning presentation behind. Grandma picked up her champagne glass. "Well," she said calmly, "I'd say this is turning out to be quite the memorable birthday party." She smiled at me. "And we haven't even had cake yet." The silence after Meredith's exit lasted exactly 12 seconds before my mother found her voice. "This is your fault!" she shrieked, pointing at me. "You set her up!" "Did I force her to hire a PI?" I asked calmly. "Did I make her steal from her charity?" "There must be an explanation," my father cut in. "Meredith wouldn't—" "Wouldn't what?" Grandma Emery's voice cracked like a whip. "Wouldn't lie, wouldn't steal, wouldn't try to publicly humiliate her sister." She picked up the scattered papers. "The proof is right here, Glenn. Your perfect daughter is a fraud." "And your other daughter," Presley spoke up from the back, "the one you called a failure, turns out she's the real success story." More relatives chimed in, the tide turning as the truth sank in. Aunt Linda asking about the missing charity funds meant for her daughter's medical treatment, Uncle Robert demanding to know about the trust account transfers, cousins scrolling through their phones, finding my company's website, my interviews, my achievements. "All this time," my mother whispered, sinking into a chair, "all these years you were—" "Successful," I supplied, "accomplished, everything you wanted Meredith to be." "Why didn't you tell us?" my father demanded. "Would you have believed me?" I looked him straight in the eye. 5 years ago you said I'd fail, that I was nothing compared to Meredith. Well, here's the truth, Dad. While she was stealing from children's charities, I was building something real. I need to find Meredith." My mother stood up shakily. "She needs me." "Sit down, Hope." Grandma's tone froze her in place. "For once in your life, face what's in front of you instead of running to Meredith." A commotion at the door drew everyone's attention. Fletcher Mann walked in, holding a folder. "Sorry to interrupt," he said, nodding to me. "But there's something else you should all know. The police are here." My mother collapsed back into her chair. My father went pale. "I was required by law to report the charity fraud once I discovered it," Fletcher explained. "They've been building a case for weeks." Right on cue, 2 detectives entered the ballroom. They barely glanced at the birthday decorations as they approached our group. "We're looking for Meredith Francis," one said, showing his badge. She left," my mother whispered. "We know. We just arrested her in the parking lot." The room exploded again. Relatives gasping, my mother sobbing, my father arguing with the detectives. Through it all, Grandma sat calmly, sipping her champagne. "Well," she said to me quietly, "was it worth the wait?" I watched my parents rushing out to find Meredith, watched my relatives huddled in shocked groups, sharing stories of how Meredith had borrowed money or made promises through her charity. "I didn't want this," I admitted. "I just wanted—" "The truth," Grandma finished, "and now everyone has it." She stood up, commanding attention like always. "This party's not over. My granddaughter, my successful, honest granddaughter, is finally home, and I want cake." Later, as servers cut the elaborate birthday cake Meredith had ordered, Presley brought me a glass of champagne. "That was intense," she said. "But you know what's crazy? No one's even surprised about Meredith anymore. They're all talking about you, about how they should have seen it." "Seen what?" "That you were the strong one, the real deal." She clinked her glass against mine. "Meredith tried to tear you down and exposed herself instead. That's some karma." My phone buzzed. A text from Hugh. "News about your sister's arrest is hitting the business feeds. Want me to handle PR?" "No," I typed back. "Let the truth speak for itself." "Jailer?" My father's voice made me look up. He stood awkwardly, looking older than I'd ever seen him. "Your mother and we're going to the police station. But first I need to say—" "Don't," I cut him off. "Save your apologies. They're 5 years too late." He nodded slowly, understanding finally showing in his eyes. "You really did it, didn't you? Everything we said you couldn't do?" "No," I corrected him. "Everything you never bothered to see me do." As he walked away, Grandma raised her glass in my direction. Around us, relatives were already shifting, adapting to the new family dynamic, one where Meredith wasn't the golden child and I wasn't the failure. "Happy birthday, Grandma," I said, raising my glass in return. She smiled, that knowing smile that suggested she'd seen this coming all along. "Oh, sweetheart, this is just the beginning." My office phone rang at 2:43 a.m. The number was blocked, but I knew who it was. "Hello, Meredith." A pause, then, "How did you know?" "Because you always did your worst damage in the middle of the night." I leaned back in my chair, looking out at the city lights. "What do you want?" "I'm out on bail," she said, as if that explained everything. "Mum and Dad won't answer my calls. No one will. That tends to happen when you steal from sick children. I didn't." She stopped. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. You were supposed to be the failure, the disappointment, not me. Sorry to ruin your narrative. Can't you help me?" Her voice cracked. "You have money now, influence. You could make this go away. Like you tried to make me go away." Silence. "That's what I thought." I stood up, walking to the window. "Goodbye, Meredith." "Wait!" She was crying now. "Please, you're my sister." "No," I said quietly. "I stopped being your sister the day you decided to destroy me instead of accept me." I hung up, just as Hugh knocked on my door. "Late night?" he asked, noting my expression. "Just finishing some family business." I gestured to my laptop. "Did you see the email from Grandma?" He grinned. "The one about her new foundation? Pretty bold move, starting a children's charity to replace Meredith's. Even bolder, asking me to be on the board." I showed him the press release draft. "She wants to announce it next week." Speaking of announcements, he handed me a tablet. On it was an email from my mother. Subject line, "Please read." I almost deleted it, but something made me open it. "Jailer, your father and I are selling the house. The one we always said you weren't good enough to live up to. The one Meredith was supposed to inherit. We're donating the proceeds to Grandma's new foundation as restitution for what Meredith stole. We don't expect forgiveness. We don't deserve it. But you deserve to know that we finally see you, not as we wanted you to be, but as you are. You won. Not because you proved us wrong, but because you proved yourself right." "Mom, you okay?" Hugh asked softly. Before I could answer, my assistant Sarah buzzed in. "Miss Francis, your grandmother's here." Grandma Emery walked in, impeccable as always. "Good, you're both here. We need to talk about the foundation launch." "At 3 a.m.? She smiled. "Best time for fresh starts?" She sat down, pulled out a folder. "The DA called. Meredith took a plea deal. She's going away for a while." "How long?" "Long enough to learn what it feels like to lose everything." She met my eyes. "Like you did once." "I didn't lose everything," I corrected her. "I left everything. There's a difference." "Yes, there is." She opened the folder. "Now, about this foundation, I'm thinking big. Real change, real help for families in need. No fake charities, no embezzlement, no lies." She looked up at me. "Think you can handle that?" I thought about Meredith's late-night call, about my mother's email, about that dinner 5 years ago when I walked away with nothing but my dignity. "Actually," I said, pulling up a proposal on my laptop, "I have some ideas." Hugh excused himself, leaving me with Grandma to plan something bigger than revenge, redemption. Not for Meredith, not for my parents, but for all the kids who needed what Meredith's charity had promised but never delivered. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Presley. "Family group chat is wild. Everyone's sharing your Forbes article. Even Uncle Robert admitted he was wrong about you. Times really do change." I showed it to Grandma, who laughed. "No, dear, times don't change. People do. Some grow stronger, some show their weakness. You just happened to do the former while your sister did the latter." "And my parents?" "They're learning." She patted my hand. "But that's not your problem anymore. You've got bigger things to build." Looking at the foundation plans spread across my desk, I realized she was right. I didn't need revenge anymore. I didn't even need their approval. I had something better. The truth. Not just about who I'd become, but about who I'd always been. Stronger than their doubts, bigger than their limitations, and finally, completely free of their shadows. Ready to change some lives? Grandma asked, pen poised over the foundation papers. I signed my name, not as Meredith's sister, not as my parents' disappointment, but as exactly who I was meant to be. Always have been.